I'm reading today from The New God Image by Edinger, and I'm reading from a letter that Dr. Carl Jung wrote to Father Victor White on April the 10th, 1954. It is possible that the Christian symbolism expresses man's mental condition. In this case, the post-mortal solution would be symbolic of an entirely new psychological status, that is, that of oneness. What Dr. Jung meant by this is that man's conscious and unconscious minds merge at the time of death. Quote, "This is a formidable secret and difficult to understand because it means that man will be essentially God and God man. The signs pointing in this direction consist in the fact that the cosmic power of self-destruction is given into the hands of man, and that man inherits the dual nature of the Father. He will misunderstand it, and he will be tempted to ruin the universal life of the earth by radioactivity. Materialism and atheism, the negation of God, are indirect means to attain this goal. Through the negation of God, one becomes deified, that is, God Almightilike, and then one knows what is good for mankind. That is how destruction begins. It begins with the projection of the shadow. There is need of people knowing about their shadow, because there must be somebody who does not project. They ought to be in a visible position where they would be expected to project, and unexpectedly they do not project. They can thus set a visible example, which would not be seen if they were invisible. There is certainly Phariseeism, law consciousness, power drive, sex obsession, and the wrong kind of formalism in the church. But these things are symptoms that the old showy and easily understandable ways and methods have lost their significance and should be slowly replaced by more meaningful principles. This indeed means trouble with the Christian vices, since you cannot overthrow a whole world because it harbors also some evil. It will be a more individual or a local fight with what you rightly call avidya. As everything passes, even theological books are not true forever, and even if they expect to be believed, one has to tell them in a loving and fatherly way that they make some mistakes. A true and honest introverted thinking is a grace and possesses for at least a time divine authority, particularly if it is modest, simple, and straight. The people who write such books are not the voice of God. They are only human. It is true that the right kind of thinking isolates oneself. But did you become a monk for the sake of congenial society? Or do you assume that it isolates only a theologian? It has done the same to me and will do so to everybody that is blessed with it. That is the reason there are compensatory functions. The introverted thinker is very much in need of a developed feeling, i.e., of less sentimental, melodramatic, and emotional relatedness to people and things. The compensation will be a hell of a conflict to begin with, but later on, by understanding what nirvana means, they become the pillars at the gate of the transcendent function, i.e. the transitus to the self. There is a footnote in this letter which says that the bridge There's a footnote in this letter that says that the bridge is the uniting symbol. And this is what Dr. Jung is talking about when he talks about the gate to the transcendent function. Introverted people tend to be more in touch with their unconscious than extroverted people.